Hi, I'm Soar. I'm a science teacher here at Academy of International Studies, and just like a lot of teachers, I'm better off at speaking than I am actually at listening, so I'm trying to get better at listening. And because of that, when we were doing Racial Justice Action Week, we had some videos that were portrayed and just the message that I got off of them and trying to get better at listening. So the people that we had speak to us with the videos were Dr. Kendi, Miss Gorman, Willow Smith, Chadwick Boseman, and Dr. Kendi was very well spoken. He gave me some I liked a lot of the stuff about data and just where he was going with trends that we see in society. Amanda Gorman, I felt, was a lot more poetic, which is very tough because I tried starting out doing a poem for this and it just did not work. Most of Miss Gorman's poetry was about women, talks about using voice and being visible. And I think that's a big thing right now with our generation going forward is just the visibility and being forward for what you are and what you stand for, and being understanding of others. Willow Smith, I'm rather embarrassed about. I brought this up to my wife. I'd never really seen her or heard about her much. And it's just because I'm kind of out of touch. I read more books than I read movies or songs, really. So the thing I like about Willow Smith, she got her own style. I feel like she's really genuine. She believes that we need more compassion in our society, and that's something I totally agree with and back up. Tells you about being a creator. If you don't like something, change it, fix it, move on, do something about make something of it. So Willow Smith talked about social media and the power and the good and the bad with it, how it's and I feel like that's something even affects me. All right, I'm not into movies and TV shows as much, but do I have social media? Yeah. And was I addicted to it? Heck yeah. Chadwick Boseman, one of the best people this world's been blessed with, I think. Talks about the spirit of a fighter and need to feel the sting of defeat and then getting back up. And I agree with that because not everything is going to be roses and trophies and whatnot. You're going to in life take a few L's. And what makes you good or bad not good or bad, defeated or not is whether you get up, from those. Talks about having a purpose over careers, which is something I believe the youth and the millennial generation does a lot better. They understand that your first job is not going to be the job you retire from 40 years from now. And it's more about having a purpose because your careers can change, but your purpose doesn't always change with that. And I just have my note sheet here in case we're wondering what I'm looking at. Other community members that we had for Racial Justice Action Week, we had Ashley Mills Govan. All right. She was actually an alumni here of our school, so she's in the armed forces serving our country. Super proud. She's at HBCU. She talks about how we lack funding for big name programs like University of North Carolina would get funding versus small programs like her, HBCU, and about how you go about getting funding and about how even at a historically black college university, there's no history program for black history, which is a shame. Deacon Arthur Miller, who was a civil rights activist, changing moment was when his classmate was murdered. He was around for segregation, so I feel like listening to him, it's got he's seen it all. He's been there from back in the day and he sees what it is now, and it's not just so negativity with it. It's he talks about the good stuff, the progress that we've made, which is good, and where he wants to go. Teaches me not to hate. He's loves how we're connected to, he considers patriotism and civil rights in the same sentence, which is something lately we haven't really had. And he talks about lack of self-love in the community, and I believe that because if you're going to have issues in this world if you don't have pride in who you are. Another gentleman was Keith Smith Jr., active purpose, coaching, motivational speaker. I liked how he brought up about trajectory, because trajectory is where you're going. Talks about how our post-high school population is down, with like the enrollment for college is down, and also entering into jobs out of high school is down for African Americans. And that's, to me, it's dollars and cents and just data, and it starts off with like you're starting off with no future, so how can you go from there? And that's something we need to change. He talks about be who you are, don't expect to follow social media and be successful plus happy, which is something I agree with, because like if you're following somebody, you're never in the lead. So when you see social media and you're watching things, you're like, oh, I want to do that. It's already been done, like just following somebody's footsteps. You're following somebody's cookbook recipe. I feel like be yourself and be happy, That being said, social media, I do love me some like photos and videos on puppies and cats. They make me happy. Martha Stone was at the end. She was an attorney in Center for Children's Advocacy. She was one of the attorneys for Sheff versus O'Neill. Talks about voting rights and police brutality. One of the things she brought up is gun violence, which is a major issue I believe we have in our society. As soon as we have a problem with somebody, it seems like everyone reaches for a gun now, and it's obviously violence isn't the answer, and you don't grab a gun for lack of violence. So it's just one of those things I think we got to work on as society. So overall, I thought the videos really kind of made me think a little bit, which is what they're designed to do. My best. Thank you.